What is up, duelists? Arts and Crofts bringing you your daily dose of Yu-Gi-Oh! GOAT format action. We got something a little bit different today. I recently got access to the GOAT format War League Discord server. If you don't know what War League is, it's basically a very competitive team-based GOAT format tournament. You have teams of like 5 to 8 players, and every week two teams will face off against each other. Each player will kind of pair off against one other player on the other team, and it's like a best of five sort of matchup each week. And it is a place where a lot of the very top level players play regularly. There's like 50 matches a week, so there's a lot of really high level GOAT format content. And Hernyhog here sent me a replay to review here, so I figured that I could debut what I think will be a new kind of side series to the main GOAT format feature matches, which I'm going to call War League Wednesdays, because I love, some good old alliteration. I bet someone out there somewhere has named a series War League Wednesdays at some point, but, get in contact with my lawyers, because I'm running with it for now. But yeah, I figured we could, basically do a little bit of a spotlight on some of these higher level GOAT format matches once a week. Still want to continue to do some of the regular ladder stuff because you get a little bit more spice there. But I think this will be another good kind of source of content and replays for you guys to enjoy. So we're going to look at it from Hernyhog's point of view because he submitted it to me, and we'll try to go kind of in depth into his decision making, and hopefully we can all learn some stuff here. So Hernyhog's going to be able to go first here. In game one, their opening hand is pretty solid. They open Faith, Spy, Dust Shoot, Break, Snatch, Jar. So, we have Faith without really any spells we want to use, so the obvious opening play here is just going to be set Spy. Dust Shoot, of course, is pretty nice. We don't have any sort of discard fodder for the Raigeki Break, so I could understand not setting it here. And, Dust Shoot can kind of prevent... I don't know what Don't Copy is playing. I know they generally play, I think in the final, or in the top 8 of Worlds that I think they made this year, or last year, I should say, because we're now in 2025. They were playing either Chaos Control or Turbo siding into Control, like the Goat's meta package. So probably expecting to play against some Chaos stuff. My point being there that I would be a little bit more likely to set Raigeki Break here, maybe if I was playing up against like Warrior and there was the threat of like Mystic Swordsman level 2. But if the read is that Don't Copy is just playing some turbo stuff or a Chaos variant, I think we're fine to just set Spy, set Dust Shoot, set Jar Pass. So I would not be surprised to see if that's what Hernyhog does here. Gonna set the break there. I think that's totally fine. You have the option to just like pitch a Dead Magician of Faith, get a Light Engrave, so that you do actually get some value even if you go down in card advantage. Sure, it actually gives your opponent something to Heavy Storm or MST, but that's like kind of fine. Not the end of the world. I think maybe I don't set break here, just making the read on what Don't Copy is playing. But I think setting it is totally fine as well. My logic, of course, though, is that like you could just Dust Shoot away a potential threat to your Spy. So you don't need break here, probably, unless they have like multiple things, but that seems unlikely. Either way, we're going to fire off this Dust Shoot here in the standby phase. Yep. And we will get to see what Don't Copy is rocking here. And yeah, as expected, they're running potentially Chaos Turbo, potentially Chaos Control. Their hand is pretty nice as well. They've got Faith plus Sook with the Gravekeepers, with the with the Graceful Charity in hand. They also have a Thunder Dragon to play with their Graceful. They have a Spy, which is nice. So yeah, really nice hand. They have Dust Shoot here as well. I guess the one good thing that I forgot to mention about Hernyhog setting Raigeki Break is it does play around Dust Shoot next turn. If you want to hold Jar of Greed or like go draw phase Raigeki Break. So we'll see if that's something that they maybe want to try and do. Although you don't really care about getting Dust Shooted right now because your hand is kind of bad. But I think when you see TD Graceful in hand, you kind of just need to send back the Thunder Dragon and not let them get the free +1. Yeah, Spy is kind of annoying. You could maybe think about like Raigeki breaking the Spy or something, depending on what you draw next turn. But I think you just have to send back TD when you see this, especially because, yeah, no, I think that's just the play. Yeah, send back TD, pretty much a no-brainer. And now you have to worry about that dust shoot coming through. Don't copy. We'll see here if they fire off this graceful anyway. No, they're just going to set a monster pass. So the options here are, it's probably Spy. They're going to almost definitely hold Faith in hand, obviously because they have no spells in grave. There is a small chance that it's Tsukuyomi, just to kind of be a little tricky. But let's see. Oh, sorry. I should be showing Hernyhog's hand. We draw a second Spy for turn, which is pretty gnarly. So good chance that this set is Gravekeeper Spy. Honestly, an interesting play here. So you have a basically dead Spy in hand, which is good discard fodder for the Raigeki break. And you kind of want to get aggressive here. Don't copy noticeably not setting Dust Shoot as well, I guess, realizing that Hernyhog could play around it, but this actually works out really nicely for Hernyhog, because you can just go ahead and Jar of Greed here. So honestly, a play I don't hate is like flip Spy face up, search out the third Spy, assuming Hernyhog is running the third Spy. That's pretty standard nowadays, but he might not be. But assuming you're running the third Spy, I like flip up Spy before you jog to at least thin the last one out. It would be catastrophic if you jogged into the third Spy, right? That would just, you would lose instantly, right? So I like flip Spy, put it in attack, then maybe jog in case you find something good to discard, like a Sinister Serpent. And then otherwise you can Raigeki break this set monster and then hit in for 24. That feels pretty good to me. We'll see what Hernyhog chooses to do. Let's see. Yeah, so they're gonna go for flip Spy. Someone out in defense position. I guess this is fine. I mean, you could play the long game here. It's just a little bit annoying. I guess so. Maybe you want to save your Raigeki break for your opponents, because they do have like Sook plus Faith in hand, which is annoying. But I feel like you don't have too much going on for you here. So I kind of like getting aggressive if you can. Especially because, like, you have a dead Spy in hand, so who really cares if you have to discard it to the Raigeki break? It's not the end of the world. But I think this play is fine. We're going to go jog anyway. Oh, and we jog into knock. Yeah, so, I mean, I think I probably, especially because you have jog into knock potential here, I think attack position Spy is kind of a no-brainer. Even if you don't grab the knock, I would probably Raigeki break this set. But definitely let me know what you guys think in the comments. I could just be super duper aggressive for basically no reason. But I do kind of like that idea. And now we can go just knock the set, which is really nice. Unfortunately, we won't be able to thin our deck of the final Spy, but at least we get to banish all of our opponent's Spies out of their deck, which is really nice. We get in for 12. Could have had the opportunity for 24 here, but otherwise it's fine. And now we have the option of what to do with our normal summon this turn. So we know, so we know the hand. There's Dust Shoot, a Dead Faith, Graceful with no discard fodder, and a Tsukuyomi. So you could go set Faith here, because you know it'll probably resolve, unless they top deck knock or something, and if they do that, it's not the end of the world. I feel like you could have gone normal summon Spy in main phase 1 if you wanted to go for maximum pressure here. But you want to hold the Spy in hand for your Raigeki break, so you have discard fodder for that. So I feel like you're just going to go set Faith here, maybe grab back that knock, and then that's pretty nice when you know your opponent has Magician of Faith in hand. So that's probably the move. That's what we see out of Hernyhog. So yeah, pretty nice turn there. Could have gotten a little bit more aggressive. Really nice, lucky annulment of Crossout draw off of that Jar of Greed. Shout out to Don't Copy for not setting that Dust Shoot, so you could activate that. I'm not sure if that was the correct play from Don't Copy, although I guess either of these back row could be like MST or something, so maybe that's fine. But Hernyhog playing pretty well here. A little bit conservative, but I don't think it's the end of the world. Don't Copy here. Going to draw for turn. Yeah, drew knockoff Jar, missed 1200 damage. Yeah, totally. Ooh, Don't Copy top decks Pot of Greed, which is pretty nice. And with Graceful in hand, pretty likely that they're going to unbrick themselves here. Going to fire off that Graceful, nothing we can do about this. Going to discard the known Dust Shoot and MST. Okay. So we know still in the hand is just the Faith Sook, right? So we're pretty far behind now. They also drew into Thunder Dragon. Oof, that's a pretty bad turn for us. Um, let's see though. They're gonna go set a monster, set a back row pass. Okay, so now you can make the choice. There's the option to back row pop Raigeki break the back row to make your faith play a little bit stronger. I mean, if it's chainable, it's not the end of the world. Because like, if it's like ring, what do they pop a spy? It's not terrible. And the idea is you would do that in case it is like set Raigeki break, pop our Magician of Faith, because then we can't just go flip faith, knock the set, get in for a bunch of damage. And honestly, I do like that play. I kind of like Raigeki break, discard spy, pop the back row, flip faith, grab the knock the set, get in for at least 25, potentially more, because we're pretty far behind here. So I feel like we kind of need to get aggressive and hope our opponent bricked. The other option is to just like put the shields up and sit behind spy for a while. But I kind of don't like that, given we do actually have a nice tempo advantage here. Like, I kind of don't want to squander this. Like, Faith Grab Knock, banish their normal summon for the second turn in a row is really, really strong. And so I would like to take advantage of the fact that they'll have an open board. So I could definitely see going for the Raigeki break play on the back row here. You don't have to, but I feel like it's kind of nice. And maybe I'm just super aggro here. They're going to choose not to do that. They draw a Breaker for a turn, which is pretty similar. Now, you do have to potentially worry about Torrential here. Your opponent is not going to be playing... Well, so not every Turbo deck main deck's Torrential anymore. Especially probably in War League, because this is a very, like, incestuous metagame, for lack of a better term, where people are very much pre-siding. Like, most of the time you're going to be playing against Turbo, Chaos Control, or Warrior. So, pre-siding, like, it's very common to see, like, double Mind Control main deck, because you just expect to play a Turbo Mirror or something, right? And similar to that, right? Turbo or Torrential Tribute, not the best card in the Turbo Mirror. So a lot of decks are, especially in War League, probably either siding it or not playing it in the 55 at all. You still probably want it in the 55 for the occasional Warrior or Earth aggro list, but maybe it's not worth playing around here is kind of my point, I guess, right? I think you definitely want to flip the faith first so you can get the knock, and then you can go flip faith, normal breaker, pop the back row, knock, and get in for 1,000,000 damage. That seems pretty good. So we'll probably see exactly that play. You want to summon the breaker before you knock, of course, in case they have Torrential set. Then they have to kill their own monster, and you can save knock for later. Okay, so, or we're just going to say, I'm not going to summon the breaker here, which does play around Torrential. Exactly. But is it worth playing around Torrential? I guess is kind of my thought there. I feel like you probably don't care about Torrential too much. But I guess we'll see. And we're going to banish the known Tsukuyomi. Okay, so the Suk Loop is dealt with. That's pretty nice. We prevent their Dark from hitting the grave as well. And yeah, I feel like we should just have gone Breaker first, right? I mean, we can still get in for 25 here, which is nice. Drop him to 41. But our hand doesn't really do much besides attack here. So I kind of feel like getting super aggro here is nice. I guess we can, like... The idea is we'll force them into maybe, like, a unprotected Chaos Monster that then we can Snatch Seal for game later on. But I feel like you're not passing with lethal on board at this point, whereas if you had Breaker, you would be. So I feel like that's fine. And the only punish is Torrential. I mean, you lose if you get Torrential, right? So I can understand not doing it. But I feel like my opponent just went pot graceful Thunder Dragon last turn. So I want to get aggressive here while they still have the 2 dead Thunder Dragons in hand, so they can't cash them in. I'm not saying Hernyhog is playing this poorly by any stretch of the imagination. I just think they could have been a little bit more aggressive at different points this game. Like if they hit in with the 12 for the spy previously, the opponent would be at 29, which is even scarier for don't copy. And breaker here would put them down to 13, and then they just like lose to ring on the breaker or something. So potentially an opportunity to min max damage here. And then we're gonna go set this last spy. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you're not gonna, well, but then what are you discarding to the Raigeki break? Is the idea. This play is a little bit interesting to me because, I mean, I guess if they have main deck Minecon, it's pretty bad against the spy. If they have knock, then sure they can knock a spy as well. Like that's totally fine. But we don't actually have any other flips in hand that we would want to bait out a knock for with this spy. So you could have even just gone normal summon spy attack, right? And just really get in for damage. Or keep it in hand so you have discard fodder for the Raigeki break. We'll see how this ends up playing out, but this seems a little bit weird to me. Because it doesn't even give us lethal next. Like we would still need to summon the breaker and play into torrential next turn to have lethal, so it's not even like increasing our clock too much. But maybe it's just to give the opponent a little bit of. I mean, they don't need to freak out about this set though. Is the thing, right? Because like we only have knock engrave, so if it's a second faith, it's like okay, whatever, you know. And it's not like we need to protect our life. We're at 8k. Our opponent doesn't have chaos live, so yeah. There, at the same time, there isn't really a lot of punish for this. The punish is they summon something that we want to Raigeki break, and then we have to discard a real card to it that isn't spy, right? Like it would suck for them to go normal summon breaker, and then we have to like discard snatch steal to kill their breaker, or you would probably have to. You're kind of forced to discard breaker in that scenario, because then you're getting light dark engrave, and you need your snatch steal, right? So yeah, I feel like especially because Raigeki break is our only interaction here, I would prefer keeping the spy in hand. We'll see how it works out though. Don't copy has a Raigeki break of their own, and so they do just freak out and pop this set. That seems interesting to me as well, because it's like, what are you really worried about? Unless you really your only play is a set monster and you really don't want it to be a Magician of Faith. But this actually works out pretty nice for us. They end up 2 for 1ing themselves, like 1.5 for 1ing themselves just to deal with a dead spy. So, I mean, I'll take it any day of the week. And they're going to go set a back row, set a monster pass. So at this point, do we have game? If we go pop back row, spy in for 12, we would hit in for 31, 35. We would hit them for 35 next turn. So we don't have lethal entirely, right? What I'm saying here is there aren't really any monsters left in Don't Copy's deck because the spies are banished and the Sook is gone. That spy doesn't just beat over here. So you can, even if it's like Sangan or whatever, you can just beat over this and then get in for damage with everything else. So you could go, snatch, pop the back row, or a Raigeki break, discard snatch, pop the back row, and then attack. You would only have 3,500 damage here though, which is not lethal. So maybe you hold Raigeki break here until you have better discard fodder. Is the idea? Yeah, and I think that makes sense. Now we draw Thunder Dragon though, so now we actually get something to discard for our Raigeki break, which is really nice. Surely there's no torrential, right? Or do we? Yeah, because it's still not lethal. I guess you could go for game by going Raigeki break, pop the set monster. Well, in this order, you would go normal summon breaker, breaker, pop the back row. If it's ring, that's really good because then they take damage anyway. And then you can go Raigeki break, discard Thunder Dragon, kill the set monster, attack for game. Now you'd want to set the Snatch Steel before you Thunder Dragon here in case they have Dust Shoot set, right? Because then they could send back the Breaker and that would be bad. So I like set Snatch Steel, discard Thunder Dragon, normal summon Breaker, Breaker pop the back row, and then go for game. I feel like that's probably the play here. Torrential is whatever. I just don't like playing around Torrential here at all against Turbo game one. That's just me, I think, but it is what it is. Let's see. Okay, so normal summon Breaker first is fine here as well. Yeah, I guess you don't have to risk setting the Snatch Steel. You could just go normal summon Breaker first. That's fine. This is good. Breaker pop the back row. It's a Raigeki break. Okay, so they discard another Thunder Dragon, pop the Breaker, and now we kind of have to reevaluate. Because now we no longer have lethal. But you can see all of the pressure that we've given has forced them to just like discard their entire hand. So I do like Hernyhog could have been even more aggressive this game, but it's really good that they are being at least as aggressive as they are, because it's forcing Don't Copy to make all these super suboptimal trades, which is pretty nice for us. Now, what could this set monster be? Unfortunately, I see that it's Magician of Faith, so I'm gonna try and be unbiased and be like, okay, well, clearly you want a Raigeki break, pop the set monster, right? But the worry here, I guess, is it could be a Sangan, it could be Serpent. Most likely it's a Dekoichi or a Faith, though. Right. And Dekoichi isn't the end of the world. They'll cycle for a card, but they will get a Dark Engrave, which is kind of annoying. And so do you really want to Raigeki break the set monster if it's going to just put a Dark Engrave and you don't have lethal this turn? That doesn't seem super great, right? Yeah, you have Snatch to deal with Chaos if they summon it. But I feel like holding a Raigeki break is just kind of like good. So I would probably just go fire off Thunder Dragon here. Hit him for 15. That's so weak though. But I feel like that's probably the play. Okay, we're actually just gonna go. Why are we not activating Thunder Dragon first? That's kind of funny. So that just must be an oversight here for Hernyhog. That's kind of silly. But it is what it is. Of course, you would rather activate your Thunder Dragon first, get the 2 enhanced, then you get a free discard for the Raigeki break. So obviously, if you're going for that play, that is what you want to do here. It's kind of an unforced error, but you do at least get a hit in for another. What is this? 2,700. So this is a turn 2 turn clock, which is nice. They don't have Chaos Live, which is really good. Yeah, I guess. So going back to the decision of whether or not to Raigeki break this set or not, I guess running into a Faith is like really bad because they get popped, right? But then popping a Dekoichi and not having, I guess if you pop the Dekoichi, you get a Dark Engrave. You still hit them down to 17, and then the backup plan is Snatch, right? If they do have Chaos or like Tribe or something, right? And you know what? Okay, yeah. I like the Raigeki break play more because with the board state so simplified, like even you kind of don't even want to get the draw off the Dekoichi, right? And especially with both Raigeki breaks and Mystical Space Typhoon gone, like there's a really good chance they just won't have a quick effect out to Snatch Steal on their own turn, like unless they're main decking Book or something, which seems unlikely. So I think risking popping a Dekoichi and getting a Dark Engrave is fine because you still at least get hit for maximum damage here. Whereas hitting a Faith is just insane, right? Because they still only have Lights Engrave and they don't get to grab their pot graceful. So yeah, I think I like this play. Unfortunately, you should discard Thunder Dragon first, of course, not to beat a dead horse. But assuming you did that, I definitely like the Raigeki break play here. You're basically hedging. You get rewarded if you hit Magician of Faith, and even if you hit Dekoichi, it's like kind of not a big deal. Right, because you at least have Snatch Steal. Hitting Sangan is annoying too, but like that's whatever. Um so yeah, I think I like this play. And if you hit Serpent, it is what it is, right? You still get in for 25 and then can kill them next turn. Or get close to killing them next turn. So yeah, I like this play. Oh, we're just gonna hit him for 24. Yeah, I think that's fine because it's still a two-turn clock. No reason to get them down. You know, maybe if it got them down to 1200 by attacking with the Faith, you would rather do that. But I think this is fine. Although, you do have like normal summon Dekoichi per game if you hit in with the Faith, which is maybe good. So maybe it is actually worth attacking with the Faith here. It's pretty minor, but I feel like getting them down to 14 is actually kind of nice. Just because it is a relevant value for your monsters. And you're at 800, so it's not like you really need to protect your life points too much anyway, right? Let's see, though. Although, I guess, do you die to BLS Ring if you keep the Faith in attack position? You would take 27 plus 18 is 45, 75. So you wouldn't actually die. You would die to BLS plus, like, another monster, maybe. Although they would need to get a Dark Engrave anyway, so it's yeah, never mind. You don't even die to alone BLS plus Ring, and they don't have a Dark Engrave anyway. So I feel like you probably just attack with the Faith there, is my thought. Super minor, but yeah. I don't know, I feel like overall Hernyhog could probably afford to be a little bit more aggressive sometimes. It's clearly working out for them pretty well so far, but that's just kind of my thought there. Don't copy as an upstart. Sure. Into a normal summon Dekoichi. Kill a spy, which is kind of annoying. Okay, but they have no back row, so we just have game. Cool. Yeah. So, well played. GG won, everyone's favorite saying. But Hernyhog takes it down. I think that was overall pretty well played, besides the stupid Thunder Dragon blunder. But yeah, made the right call off the Dust Shoot. Could have been a little bit more aggressive with their spies. They acknowledged that in chat, right? Depending on what they drew off the jar, or they could have just gone for the Raigeki break play. And then, yeah, I think they were definitely correct to Raigeki break the set monster, even not knowing it was Faith, because they got super duper rewarded for it and pushed through a lot of damage. So yeah, probably could have won a little bit faster, but overall, I think pretty well played. Yeah, you just kind of saw the value of ripping out your opponent's good stuff with I mean, that was just a pure tempo victory for Hernyhog, right? It was turn 1 Dust Shoot to rip out your opponent's like Graceful Charity Thunder Dragon play. So they were kind of bricked up for a little bit. They had to wait a turn to actually resolve some of their good spells. And then you had Knock into Faith plus Knock to really just like make two of their normal summons completely worthless. He basically time walked them 2 games in a row, or two turns in a row, got in a ton of damage, and then from there, Don't Copy had to like make suboptimal trades, Raigeki breaking stuff with their Thunder Dragons to keep themselves alive, and then you could just close it out with Snatch Shield in a simplified board state, which is when Snatch Shield is at its best. So really well played there, I would say, overall. Game 2, Don't Copy gets to go first. Open an upstart into Set a Monster Pass. Okay. So our hand here is pretty nice. We have Spy, Sork, Tribe, Break, Knock, Snatch. I think the play is probably just Knock, Set, Spy. I mean, maybe you knock first in case it is a Spy, and then you just like don't have anything. Now, I guess the annoying thing is if you go Knock and it is a Spy and it banishes 2 of your spies, what do you do? Because the spy in hand is then at that point the only real good discard fodder you have for your Tribe or your Raigeki break, so you almost like don't want to play it. I think you definitely knock like 100% of the time here. I don't think there's a reason not to. Although, you know, there's a small percentage of time where you actually hold Knock here. Like, you don't always want to just use your Knock on the very first monster of the game, because turbo players will try to bait out your set monster interaction, right? So probably in this scenario, maybe like 10-15% of the time you actually hold your Knock. So they would be cool. I'm not saying it's the right call 100% of the time ever, right? But there is actually you could make a case here for not knocking. if you want to be kind of tricky, right? You could not knock, set your own spy maybe or something like that. Now you run the risk of like they can just go flip spy, knock your spy, get in for 24, which is annoying. So I think vast majority of the time you do want to knock here, but you could be tricky and not knock. And it's not like objectively bad, I don't think. Knock here is totally standard though. You hit spy, and now you're in this awkward scenario, which I didn't want to have to think about, but now we have to. So you got a couple options here, right? You could normal tribe get in for 16. That doesn't seem very strong, right? But you at least have Regeki break to back it up, and you can just start getting aggressive here ASAP. I would like that better if you had like a Thunder Dragon already in grave or any light in grave, such that discarding Spy to like a tribe or a Regeki break would make this Sork live. The other plays are set Spy, of course. Try to bait out like a Minecon, which is not too bad. Or even if they knock your Spy, that's actually kind of fine. Or you could go summon Spy, attack for 12. And I like that play if you had something to discard to this Regeki break to protect it. Otherwise, yeah, I think it's probably, even though it's awkward, it's probably just set Spy here. Because we haven't checked for knock or Minecon yet, so there's a good chance our opponent will just use one. And then we're just going to wait to draw some discard fodder, I guess is the idea. I think that's probably fine. I don't think you need to set Regeki break. Although if they like Heavy Storm it, that's probably fine. Yeah, you could just go like set Spy, set break here. I think that's probably fine. Yeah. So no break is also totally fine. No real reason to set it if you don't plan on using it. And you know there's no like Mystic Swordsman or anything that you really need to answer, so I think this is fine. Yeah, set Spy is good. See if Don't Copy takes the bait. They're gonna knock it. That's fine. That is our dark, which is kind of annoying, but I think that's worth just getting a knock out of our opponent's hand. And then they're gonna go Thunder Dragon. Okay. So they must have top decked that. And they're gonna set a monster pass. Okay. We draw for turn, we have Tsukuyomi. There's nothing really good we have to worry about in grave in terms of spells for faith or anything. We know the spies are gone, so offensively it's kind of fine. Now they didn't try to bait anything with the spy. Or like they Don't Copy did just set a pretty valuable monster turn one, so they didn't go for any sort of bait, which could tell us that they might not have like another valuable, or maybe, but like, do you really want to? I feel like you'd rather have Spy resolve here than Faith, because like Faith isn't doing too much for you, right? I guess the idea is so Don't Copy set. Yeah, you actually don't know too much about their hand off of this because Don't Copy had the knock in hand, right? Because we knew they top deck Thunder Dragon for turn. So we knew that they had Spy knock in hand. And when you have knock, it's really, really hard to pass up set Spy turn 1, turn 2, knock your opponent's set, flip up Spy, get in for 24. So even if you had like a Faith or a Dekoichi or whatever, you probably just set the Spy first there anyway for the upside of going for that big damage play. So this set could really just be anything, is kind of what I'm getting at here. Like, we didn't really learn anything about Don't Copy's hand by them setting the Spy turn 1. And because it can be anything, and because Faith is really not that strong, this is kind of like a very do-nothing hand. Like, I don't want to just Raigeki break this set for no reason, especially if it gets a Dark Engrave, right? So then, you don't really need to, like, set Sook here, I don't think. So honestly, is it just, like, set Raigeki break pass is maybe the play? Or just set nothing pass in case they have breaker. Yeah. I feel like this is just a really do nothing hand here. Yeah, I totally like just passing. I don't think you're really worried about the set at all. You have no discard fodder for any of your 2 cards. And we'll just see what it ends up being. Okay, so they don't flip it and they set a new monster. Okay. So what does that mean it could be? It could be a serpent. or it could be a Knight Assailant that doesn't flip. Right? That's basically it. Sangan is going to flip there to start beating in pretty much 100% of the time, unless Don't Copy's being super tricky. So maybe it could be a Sangan, but that's like probably not really in their range. The read is probably Serpent or Knight Assailant. And if they went for Serpent and Knight Assailant and then had another flip to follow it up, then that means the second flip is probably more likely to be something good. But we're still not super duper worried about it being a Magician of Faith. It might just dissuade us from like setting a monster without a way to pop the new set. We drop pot for turn, which is insane. Okay, so we're gonna do that. See what we get. We get Minecon and Knight Assailant. So if we want to Minecon here, which I think we probably do, we probably want to. We definitely want to get the second or the first or the newly set one, right? Because it could be Faith, it could be Dekoichi, are pretty much the only options. Unless it's like Serpent and Knight Assailant, but that's like actually fine if we end up getting a Randy Assailant. So I think we're just gonna mind control the new set monster. And then we can go like set Assailant with Tsukuyomi in hand to do some stuff later. Is maybe the idea. Yeah, Mike on the new one. It is a Dekoichi, so we'll flip that up. Draw into a Jar of Greed, which is pretty nice. Oh, I guess it sucks we don't have any flips in grave, because we would love to have Knight Assailant be our discard fodder. So now the annoying decision, right, is this set monster Knight Assailant or is it Serpent? It is kind of equally likely to be both of them, right? Like there are more copies of Knight Assailant, but you're probably more likely to want to hold on to the Knight Assailant, maybe? I guess it is. I guess there are reasons to hold Serpent and Knight Assailant in hand, so it's probably more likely that it's just Knight Assailant because there's one more copy of that in the deck, right? In which case, like it would be really nice to set up a Tsukuyomi Knight Assailant sort of loop thing here, although Dekoichi will probably just kill that. But because this set is pretty likely to be Knight Assailant, you probably don't want to do that, right? Like I kind of just don't want to give them a way to do anything with their potential Knight Assailant is the idea. And you know, Knight Assailanting the Serp is fine. Like that's not even like worth really setting up. It's not worth risking, right? So like the only thing we're gonna be Knight Assailanting is like this Dekoichi, probably. So I like keeping it in hand. And we probably just go set Jar Pass. As lame as that sounds. Do you want to go like Tribe? No, I don't think you want Tribe. Yeah, it's probably just set Jar Pass. Maybe set Jar Break Pass. Maybe. Okay, we're gonna go set Tsukuyomi, which is interesting. I mean, it'd be nice to get a Dark Engrave. It can wall out the... Oh, so I can understand setting the setting the Tsukuyomi here because it does wall out the Dekoichi, which is pretty nice. We don't want Dokkaebi to have like an easy way of just beating us down. Although, like, I'm not sure. I mean, we can see that this is Knight Assailant, right? So this is kind of bad into that. Right. If it's Serpent, is this good? It does wall out the Dekoichi. But besides that, it's not really doing a whole lot. Right. And Setsuki here doesn't really set up for any other interesting plays at any point. So I feel like I would rather have held the Suk here. Because I don't feel the need to like risk it really. Like we're at 9,000 life. There's nothing really I'm super duper worried about. And it's not like we need to do anything for hand size just yet. So I probably hold the Suk there. It's not a terrible play. But I feel like it's pretty likely that this set is Knight Assailant at this point. And it's not like we want to bait out the Knight Assailant for some other reason, right? The only thing I think of is baiting out the Knight Assailant makes like Tribe better later, right? Because then we don't have to worry about like Tribe running into a Knight Assailant or like summoning Tribe and then having it get Knight Assailanted next turn. But I feel like overall I would hold Suk here. I think it's fine though. I think it's kind of close. No copy. He's gonna go flip up Knight of Silent, pop the Sook. And they're gonna go tribute for Thunder Dragon, getting a Dark Engrave. Yeah, so this is a lot. We're gonna get hit for 3k, which is a little bit annoying. But I mean, we only go down to 6,000. It's not the end of the world. They have no back row here as well, which is actually pretty nice. And now let's see. We're gonna draw another Sork return. We're gonna jar here and hope to God we find a Thunder Dragon, and we find a BLS. Oof. Okay. So now we actually have some options, right? We can go like Tribe, discard, BLS, get a Light Engrave, go for Sork, and then start getting aggressive. I don't love that, because then you still have another dead Sork in hand. Is it just set Night Assailant, set break? You could snatch the Thunder Dragon, but that doesn't seem like amazing. Yeah, it would have been better if we had Tsukuyomi in hand still, right? Because then we could at least reset it. Yeah, and it sucks we have triple Chaos in hand with no Light Engrave. Haven't found our Thunder Dragon. So we kind of want to stall until Thunder Dragon, is I feel like the way we win this game, right? Or stall until any light hits the grave. Right. I mean, at least Raigeki Break is kind of live right now because we have a light in hand. But I feel like we could just go set Assailant, set Raigeki Break, pass. And play it a little bit passive because we just kind of want to unbrick our hand. Right. Like, we actually have a good amount of inevitability here that our opponent doesn't know about, because we can go and summon a bunch of chaos in one turn as soon as we find a T-Drag. So I kind of like set break, set Assailant here, just to kind of stall out, stymie some of the aggression. I think that's fine. Yeah. Let's see what Hernyhog does here. It's lame, but I feel like stalling here is probably a good play. Yeah. Okay, and we come to the same conclusion. Yeah. I think stall here is fine. I think it's good. Cool. Don't copy. They have BLS. That's annoying. They can banish a dark, which is annoying. We do have Snatch Steal, though. And so the plan is we're going to try and set up for a Snatch Steal on this BLS, of course. So we want to hold Raigeki Break in case they have, like, back row or something. All right. But we're going to get Sangan in. Okay, so we're going to take 4k here. We're going to drop down to 2,000. But I think this is fine. If they set a back row, we're going to end phase Raigeki Break this. Do we discard BLS? I feel like we probably do, because then we can go snatch BLS. Like, who needs our BLS when we can just take our opponents, right? Yeah, we're gonna discard BLS to the Raigeki Break and go snatch BLS, summon Sork. Do we have game? Snatch BLS, summon Sork, summon Tribe, Tribe kills something. Kill, like, the Thunder Dragon. And then you could have, like, BLS deals 2k, 36. Yeah, 36 plus 23 is 36 plus 20. Sorry, guys. That's 59 plus 16 is 75. So we would almost kill with that play. So I feel like it's definitely worth going for something akin to that. So I think we definitely go Raigeki Break, discard BLS, pop the back row. So that has to be the play here. Yeah, perfect. Raigeki Break is amazing because now we know that's one out to our Snatch Steal gone. We probably won't be able to kill this turn unless we like top deck. I don't know. Dust Shoot is good. Dust Shoot's really good. So then, yeah, like I was saying, the play, of course we're snatching BLS. Of course we're summoning Sork, right? And I guess if we're not going to kill, we might as well just Sork banish the Sangan, maybe? And then we can hold Tribe and then just go kill him a bunch. Yeah, we can go like Snatch BLS, summon Sork. Yeah, because we still have no lights. Top deck Thunder Dragon would have been insane once more, right? Pretty good card. Yeah, so the play is probably just Snatch BLS, summon Sork. Sork banish Sangan. BLS kill these two guys and put him down pretty low is the idea. I don't think we need to summon Tribe. And then we have Trap Dust Shoot as well to like make it even more annoying. Right. I think that's probably the play here. There could be a line here I'm not seeing, but that seems pretty good to me because we can't kill this turn. Hernyhog probably just doing the math here. Yeah, I think we're going to summon Sork. Sork banished the Dekoichi? Okay. I guess... Okay, so we want to get the Dark out of Grave? That seems odd. What's the play here? BOS banish itself. Okay. Huh. So I guess this is pretty strong. I feel like just getting super aggressive here is pretty good, though. Like, you could drop your opponent to 500. Yes, they have 3 cards in hand, but... And they would maybe have Chaos Live, but if they have Chaos Sork in hand, do they summon BLS last turn instead of the Sork? Probably not, because all they did was banish something with it. Right? Or I guess they banished the Set Knight Assailant, so never mind. They could definitely have Sork in hand. This does keep them off Chaos, which is nice, and then you do have Sork plus Dust Shoot. So this is pretty conservative. I feel like I would have gotten aggro there, because now you actually kind of have a relatively dead hand, right? Because your Sork is not going to be live for a really long time. You have no discard fodder for Tribe. So that was your big play, and the fact that now you're just kind of like sitting on a Sork with a Dust Shoot behind it, which is fine, but that's really your game plan now, is just like try to do some stuff with Sork turn after turn. It feels like we could have gotten a lot more aggressive here. I'm not saying go for the full Alpha Strike and put them down to 500, but I feel like you at least want to do some damage. I guess the worry is that they can go and pop. Okay. I guess the worry is that they can just go pop the Snatch Steal, get BLS back, and then kill us. Right. And there are cards that can do that. But is Turbo playing those cards post-side? Like, the only thing that works for them next turn, like oftentimes MST is sided out, oftentimes Heavy Storm is sided out. Right, so the only card that would be really annoying in that exact scenario is Snatch Steal. And Snatch Steal is really good in this scenario anyway. So it's not even like we're playing around Snatch Steal by doing this. Yeah, we don't lose. No, we lose immediately if there's Snatch Steal. Right? So we're really only playing around Snatch Steal by not just keeping the BLS on the board. And we still get punished by it. So it didn't really do much for us, right? And now we're in a position where we still lose to Snatch Steal, but our opponent's at 8,000 instead of 3,000 or whatever. I'm not going to do the math, right? So I feel like being aggressive there is probably the play. We can at least resolve a Dust Shoot here, though. We get to see a hand. Yeah, okay. It looks like they top decked Thunder Dragon for turn, or no, that was that was known Thunder Dragon. They drew a knock. And they drew Snatch Steal. Yeah, so here's the thing. We lose anyway. Yeah. So there you go. Unfortunate. Yeah. I mean, I guess it didn't matter. Is there a way we could have just played completely around Snatch Steal here? No. Right? I don't think we do. Yeah, we just lose to Snatch Steal no matter what. So, might as well have pushed for game regardless. Yeah, that's unfortunate, but it kind of is what it is, and unfortunately we got set back pretty quickly. Early on, our hand was a little bit bricked. I think Hernyhog played pretty near perfectly for most of this game, up until maybe last turn, but it ended up being a moot point anyway. So we'll go to game 3, and we'll see if Hernyhog can take this one down. Pretty cool games, though. Some really interesting decision points. As always, guys, let me know what you think in the comments. I am very much not the best gold format player in the world, so these are all my opinions, right? I like to think I have well-reasoned opinions, and I do try to think about this game at a relatively high level, right? So, but I am also not the most egotistical person in the world. Like, I will admit that I can very often be wrong about things, so I would love to hear you guys' feedback as to what could have gone differently at any points, or what you would have done differently, reasons for plays, all that good stuff. If we could start up a cool discussion, that would actually be really awesome. So definitely feel free to comment me, DM me, whatever your thoughts. Happy to talk about stuff. Hernyhog here, now in game 3. Hand is interesting. We have Dekoichi Spy in hand, which is pretty nice. We have Raigeki Break with... Once again, we have Raigeki Break and Tribe with no discard outlets. And then Mirror Force is interesting. You don't always see it post-side against Turbo. It is good if you maybe expect like haikus and stuff, so it depends on what you think Don't Copy is playing. So now the play here is maybe... Well, so I don't like setting Mirror Force, right, because there is Breaker. There's not really anything you want to be Mirror Forcing just yet anyway. In fact, maybe you don't even keep Mirror Force in the deck at all, unless you're really worried about Kaiku, right? If you have some scouting, Don't Copy likes to play Kaikus in the side or something, sure, put the Mirror Force in. We're probably not worried about it just yet because we don't have a graveyard, right? And holding Mirror Force is a little bit tricky as well. So then the option is really just between set Dekoichi, set Spy. And actually, I kind of lead towards setting Spy first here, because you actually would rather have the Dekoichi resolve, and because you have potential, like your win con that you could play for is Dekoichi plus Tsukuyomi combos, right? You can do it maybe once with Spy, and that's kind of nice, but I feel like you don't have a lot going on in your hand right now, so you'd rather ensure you get these draws off. Like, even if you didn't have Tsukuyomi, I feel like resolving Dekoichi here is pretty nice just to see more cards in your deck, right? Spy does a similar thing, though, because it can help you kind of stall out. But I feel like the potential for Suk plus Dekoichi here makes me want to set Spy first. It's one of those scenarios where I think you probably don't want to set either of them 100% of the time, so either of them is totally fine, though. Yeah, Spy first, though, is probably what I would do. Maybe like 60-70% of the time. You probably want to set Spy first here. Yeah, no back row I think makes sense as well. Spy gets knocked, but that's fine. Hope Don't Copy gets one stuck in hand. No, both players lose all their spies. Totally fine. Then we get set a monster, set a couple back row, pass. Okay. We draw for turn. We get hit with Dust Shoot, which is pretty annoying. We drew Faith for turn, which is pretty bad. They probably just sent back the Dekoichi. I'm gonna send back the Magician of Faith. Okay, kind of an odd choice. I guess it is our only light, but honestly, kind of signifies that maybe they have like another knock, or a mind control, right? Although if they have mind control, they probably don't want to give us back the Dekoichi, right? So I feel like they might have another knock in hand and they want to knock the Dekoichis, is the idea. So you could get tricky and set the Tsukuyomi here. I think there's a non-zero chance that you want to do that. I think that's probably fine. Yeah. We're going to go normal summon Dekoichi. Yeah. Okay, so Hernyhog coming to the same conclusion that this probably means the opponent has a knock in hand. So you want to play around it kind of no matter what, right? And I guess you would want to do that anyway because you do have Suk in hand. So it makes it more likely that your Dekoichi will survive until next turn, and you can go for the Suk loop. So I like this play. Dekoichi, you can attack the set. You know it's not going to be Spy, so you kind of want to run it over. whatever it might be. And it is a Night Assailant, and that's actually fine. Like, I'll trade a Night Assailant for Dekoichi any day, really. And then you're just gonna pass, right? Mirror Force gets a lot worse when your opponent knows about it, and if you just set one back row pass here, they're gonna know it's Mirror Force pretty much 100% of the time. Unless you get tricky and set the Raigeki break first. But I think I would rather just see another card and make it less likely that my opponent knows exactly what my back row are. That's probably the play. Yeah. So I like that. Nice play from Hernyhog there. Your hand kind of sucks majorly, but I think these are the right plays. You're not super duper in a bad spot or anything. You just really kind of want to draw into some stuff. Don't copy top deck's Thunder Dragon, which turns on Chaos, which is pretty bad. Jog as well. So they got a nice full hand of stuff. They're going to go set a monster pass. Faith is not a huge threat. Not Spy. Could be Dekoichi, could be Sangans, could be Night Assailant. Kind of the idea here. We draw a Night Assailant of our own, which actually is pretty nice. Because we can go... Now we have discard fodder for our Raigeki break or our Tribe. Now Tribe is a lot worse now because the spies are gone. So we're basically just going to hold Tribe until Chaos gets played. Usually at this point. So now the kind of thought is, do we want to go and pop this set monster with the Raigeki break? And the answer is probably no. Because I just like don't really care too much about what it is. Because we actually have the Sugan hand to play around knock like we did with the Dekoichi before. I feel like it's probably just set Raigeki break pass. And then if they like play a breaker or something, we're fine discarding our Night Assailant and grabbing the Dekoichi back. I don't think we want to set... Yeah, set Night Assailant here is bad because we're behind tempo. So it's never going to do anything. I don't think set Tsukuyomi does anything here as well. Plays into Night Assailant. You kind of want to keep it in hand for some other stuff. Yeah, it's probably just set Raigeki break pass, I think. Yeah, Hernyhog agrees. Nice. We are going to Raigeki break. Okay, so I guess this is a way to get the tempo back. I guess this is fine. I'm not super worried about what this set is. I mean, Dekoichi would be really, really annoying if it resolves, I will say. And it's probably more likely to be Dekoichi than anything else. Sangan probably gets summoned. Or there's a good chance Sangan gets summoned. So it's really either Dekoichi or Night Assailant, and one Night Assailant's already in grave. So it's more likely it's Dekoichi, so I think Raigeki breaking here actually makes sense, because Dekoichi is really annoying if it resolves. And even if it is Night Assailant, it's like, okay, that's fine. We get to grab our Dekoichi back regardless. And we're at 8,000 life, so having no back row is fine. I like not setting the Mirror Force here, by the way, because once we discard the Night Assailant to the Raigeki break, our opponent knows that that's what we drew for turn, right? Because they knew the rest of our hand. So then if we set another back row alongside the Raigeki break, they would just know 100% that it's Mirror Force. So I like making it not entirely certain. Like, I don't want to give my opponent a 100% certain breaker to kill my Mirror Force, because that would just be really bad. So I like this play. Don't Copy's going to set a back row pass. We draw Upstart. We make it to main phase 1 unscathed. Resolve that. And we hit Duo, which is insane. Although we do know our opponent has double TD in hand, so it's not as insane as it normally might be. But there is a chance we snipe like a knock. I mean, actually, Duo here is fine even if we hit the Thunder Dragons, because then it makes like a set Raigeki break even worse. So I actually really like Duoing here. And then you can just go set or normal Dekoichi attack. Maybe depending on what you hit. Depending on what you hit. I think you Duo here. There's always a chance that you're gonna snipe. If you snipe a knock or mind control, then you maybe set Dekoichi. If you hit both Thunder Dragons, you probably normal summon Dekoichi. But I think you definitely Duo here regardless. Okay, we're just gonna set the Dekoichi pass. That's really interesting. Hmm. Don't copy here. Yeah, so I guess hold duo. Hold duo is interesting. Because I mean you won't get you're not guaranteed to get maximum value off of it. Right, because we know they have two Thunder Dragons in hand. Man, I would really hate to hold duo and then they top deck Graceful Charity and cash in those Thunder Dragons. That'd be really bad. I feel like you have to duo there though, because it's actually like even if you only hit the Thunder Dragons, that's their discard fodder for a potential discard trap, which is actually good against us right now. Right? And then setting to Koichi when we haven't tested for knock in a while is also not great when we have the Tsukiyomi in hand and we think that they probably have like we made the choice to play around potential knock or minecon when they ripped the faith away from the dust shoot. And we haven't tested since then. So I feel like if you're going to play around it there, you kind of have to play it around it here too. And go for normal Dekoichi attack. Yeah, there's no point in bluffing like a faith or anything. Or making them think is the value like, oh, there's no way they set Dekoichi here, so maybe they think you're bluff setting something. Maybe some small percentage of the time you get away with it. So maybe this isn't like super duper bad. If you're just going for that mind game and don't copy like chooses not to mind con this or knock it if they have one because of that. But you could just get punished here by getting hit with the knock or something. Or you could get hit by Blackluster Soldier. Okay. Another reason to potentially duo there, right? I mean, you could have always they could have top deck BLS, of course. And yeah, so duo maybe would not have been able to stop this, but our Dekoichi getting banished does kind of suck. We could have gotten in for 14 if we attacked. Hindsight's 2020, of course, but I feel like that was probably the play. Not a huge deal. And now Don't Copy still could have like knock in hand, right? Although maybe they don't go for this play. We draw Serp for turn, which is actually really, really nice. I think you probably duo first. Yeah, we're gonna go duo, normal tribe, use prio, call warrior. You have Serpent in hand, so you don't have to play around torrential. So yeah, that's probably the play. Yeah. Tribe, call prio, discard. Yeah, you could do it in this order as well. Get in for 16. Hold duo. I mean, I guess at this point, hold duo is fine because you want one of the Thunder Dragons out of the hand. Yeah, I think using duo with the double TD in hand was better when our play for turn was try and set up a Souk loop. But now we don't actually really care too much about spot removal on our tribe. So like if they want to Regeki break my tribe, that's really fine. And holding duo also makes this set Mirror Force a little bit better if we want to go for that. And then we have the option to play around Dust Shoot next turn by not grabbing the Serpent. So now is maybe the time to set the Mirror Force. Yeah, so I like that play because now it's not 100% Mirror Force all the time. Don't copy here. They have Breaker. That's unfortunate. Maybe they were holding it for forever. Oh, and then they get the max value there. Huh. Okay. You guys might say this is hindsight bias, but was setting Mirror Force the right move? No. Yeah, but I mean, they have Chaos Live. So I feel like you kind of need to put the shields up a little bit. It just sucks we haven't seen Breaker at all this game. Because then, like Don't Copy was probably holding this Breaker forever for when we set something that could have been a Mirror Force. Right. And now they just get to... Oh, actually. Oh, wow. Oh, that's really interesting. Okay. Don't Copy didn't pop the Mirror Force first. I just completely skipped over that. They let us Mirror Force their Breaker, even though they knew we had the Mirror Force in hand. So obviously you Mirror Force there every day. Keep the tribe in hand. And that's like honestly probably best case scenario for this Mirror Force is Don't Copy just kind of playing right into it. Sure. I'll take it, right? It's gonna die anyway. And we force out a Mind Con, which I wonder if they had in hand the whole time. But now they have to Mind Con, discard a Thunder Dragon to kill our tribe. Okay, and now a Thunder Dragon's out of hand, so now we're gonna get max value with Duo. Okay, so hold Duo here. So this is my synopsis on the hold Duo play. Oh, we draw Trap Dust Shoot for turn. That's annoying. Okay. Well, so we know that this back row is not Dust Shoot, so we can safely grab the Serpent, because we would have gotten hit with it last turn. So, yeah, I think you definitely grab the Serpent. And then my synopsis on the hold Duo is I would have used it when I went for the Dekoichi play, because the threat of the Souk loop is really strong. But then after that, I think holding Duo until they get rid of a Thunder Dragon is probably the right call. And now they're going to get rewarded with full Duo value here, and this is going to be pretty sweet. Now, unfortunately, held Duo makes your Dust Shoot, or using Duo now makes your Dust Shoot a lot worse. But I feel like you can't bank on them like having Jog or something. They would have definitely used Jog if it was that. There's no Serpent for them to go up to 4 cards next turn. You're basically banking on them top decking Pot to make this Trap Dust Shoot any good. So I feel like you just have to fire the Duo here. Yeah. And you hit the known Thunder Dragon, and you hit a Tribe. Okay. Not too bad. And then the play is probably just set Serpent Pass. Or you can go set Serpent, set Dust Shoot Pass. I think that's probably fine. Set Souk. Okay. Why set Souk instead of set Serpent there? Like, I feel like I'm not super duper worried. I mean, it probably resolves to the same things, because I think the idea is you want to go next turn, assuming you draw like air, you want to go normal summon the one you didn't pick, flip the other one, flip the Serpent face down with the Souk, whichever order you need to do it in, and beat in for 11 is kind of what you're trying to achieve here, now that you're up a few cards. And yeah, I guess holding Dust Shoot is fine in case you draw... Well, no. You have Serpent if you draw a Raigeki Break. I guess it's better if you draw into a Graceful Charity. So yeah, hold Dust Shoot is probably fine. You don't really need to bluff too much, except your opponent does have Chaos Slide. So maybe you could make the argument for set Dust Shoot here, I think. I think both are fine though. Like you don't really need to bluff because you're at 7k. And the order in which you do these two probably doesn't matter too much. This at least protects you if they go like normal summon to Koichi or something, I guess. So this is fine. Yeah, I don't think this turn mattered really too much what you did. As long as you used your normal summon on one of the two monsters. Doesn't really matter. Don't copy is gonna go... Oh yeah, don't copy realizing that they played right into Mirror Force, which is a little unfortunate, but it is what it is. Minecon for turn is nice because we have enough life to take a hit from Chaos and then banish it with the Minecon. So I think you're probably just going to go normal Serpent, flip summon Tsukiyomi, flip the Serpent face down, get in for 11. If they want to go 1-for-1 with Tarantula or Mirror Force, that's fine with me. Yeah, so go for this play. Get in for 11. Yeah, and now setting Dust Shoot plays around an opponent's top deck Dust Shoot, so I think setting it here is fine. Don't copy is going to set a monster pass. I think you mind control that every day, right? Surely. Oh, we have knock here as well. Okay. Yeah, well, so Minecon is our only out for Chaos. So I think we have to knock here and then just hit for 11 again is the play. I think you do the Souk thing first in case it like randomly is a torrential. You could do the Koichi, which is nice, yeah. So I think that's the right sequencing. You get hit for 11 again. You get to banish your graveyard or banish your deck of Dekoichis, which is kind of nice. Thin the deck a little bit. Then you're clocking the opponent. Now you have Minecon if they top deck Chaos still. So that's a nice play. New set monster pass. We draw Solemn for turn. That's pretty neat. So now the question is, do we want to fire off the mind control or not? The set could be not Spy, not Night Assailant, not Dekoichi. So it could be Faith, Sangan, or Serpent. I feel like we probably... Well, now we have Solemn to answer any summoned chaos. So we don't need Minecon as our chaos answer. And this set monster is most of the time going to be Magician of Faith, right? So I think we just have to go for it. And we hit the Faith, and that's humongous. Well, it's nice, I guess. Do we grab Duo here? Duo is probably the best card to grab, right? Yeah, I think we just grab the Duo, hit him for 1. We're gonna chain Raigeki Break though to hit our Dust Shoot. That's fine. Ooh, and we got rid of their Raigeki Break. Nice. And now we can go for the same Suk play. Hit for 11, set Solemn, and we're actually pretty happy with this turn. And yeah, this game has been really, really well played for Hernyhog here, I think. I had to go into the tank a few times, but I feel like we've agreed on pretty much everything, which is kind of cool. Let's see, don't copy top decks. Upstart, sure. They attack our Serpent, that's fine. We draw a Dust Shoot, so it's just gonna be grab Serpent, trade them, I think is the play. They already have Lights Engraved, so no reason not to. And then we can pass. Yeah, no reason to set the Dust Shoot, I don't think. No reason to, like, play into... You don't want to have to pretend that you care about Heavy Storm by Solemning it, right? Set back row pass. Now we have the interesting choice of playing around Dust Shoot or not. I feel like you probably don't grab the Serpent here, in case it is Dust Shoot. And then you slam the Breaker and get in for 16. Yeah, I think you keep the Serpent Engrave here. Yeah. Breaker pop the back row. If it's Dust Shoot, you're the GOAT. And you hit the Dust Shoot. Nice. Well played. Yeah. I think that was kind of a no-brainer at this point. And then, yeah, you can pass. You have Solemn here. And you have game next turn. You can just Solemn kind of whatever. And then Suk plus Breaker for game. Don't copy. Show me the chaos. Yeah, Solemn that every day of the week. Here we go. Don't copy sets a back row pass. We draw Upstart for turn. Now, I feel like now you grab the Serpent, right? Because if you have Dust Shoot, I kind of don't care. Where... This is actually... Okay, this is actually an interesting decision point. So maybe... No, well, yeah, once again, do you really care about Serpent? Right. Yeah, you probably just play around Dust Shoot because there's really no reason not to. You're not going to do anything with the Serpent this turn anyway. In the odd chance it is the third Dust Shoot, right? Okay, we're going to grab it though. I think it's probably fine. Like super low odds this is the last Dust Shoot. But you're going to go for this play regardless anyway. So I think this is fine. Hold Upstart, of course, because this is lethal. And that's a game. Yeah, wow. Okay, really well played there. Like, expertly played game 3 there from Hernyhog. Made some nice reads, sequenced their spells correctly with the Noblemans, the Minecons. Held Duo, ended up being pretty insane there. Even though they ended up eating like a BLS and stuff, I think they played it super well. I think in game 1 and 2, they had opportunities where they could have gotten a little bit more aggressive in both games. Game 1, it was a moot point because they ended up winning. And game 2, it was a moot point because they ended up losing. And being more aggressive wouldn't have stopped them anyway because they would have lost to Snatch Shield both times. So overall, really well played. I think, yeah, deserved 2-1 victory there. Like I said, could maybe be more aggressive in certain scenarios, but I definitely understand, like, as a turbo player, it's nice to take your time and have, you know, all your options open. It's scary when you just try to, you know, slam all your monsters on board and beat face like an Earth aggro deck. You're not used to doing that as a turbo player always. But this was a really fun one to look over. I definitely think both of these players definitely have some serious chops. That's why they're playing in the War League. So, you know, I'm honored to be able to review this match and kind of give my thoughts on what could have been done differently, or in most cases here, honestly, why Hernyhog was correct in most of the plays that they made, right? So yeah, awesome, really fun match. Really cool debut, I think, to this War League Wednesday series, mini-series sort of thing that I plan on doing from now on. So definitely please let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you would have done anything differently than me or Hernyhog at any point in this match. Happy to discuss all that stuff. Love talking about this game with you guys. So I will catch you next time. Thanks.